Hello, hello. Welcome, Vita Restore fam. Welcome to Thriving Thursday here on the Vita Restore channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things health and wellness, and we are the provider of the best ultimate parasite killing cleanse. So we go live every Thursday here on Vita Restore, and our topic is regarding something that is near and dear to our heart, and a question that we got from a lot of our viewers. We got tons of questions, so we want to address some of those questions. So that is what we're doing here. Welcome, welcome. If you are here brand new, welcome to Vita Restore. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning and good afternoon to some of you. I know some of you are on afternoon time already. But hello, welcome back. Emily, I was just telling everybody, welcome to Vita Restore channel where we talk about all things health and wellness. We are the co-founders of Vita Restore, which has the ultimate parasite cleanse. We have a parasite cleanse kit that has all the three parts and steps that you need to do a proper parasite cleanse. Let me just say that because there's a lot of things out there that claim to parasite clean you up, but they're missing some of the key things that you need. So in our cleanse, we have all the three steps, and we're super excited to be actually doing a group cleanse right now. We started January 8th, and we are doing, weekly check-ins and all of that to see how everyone's doing on the cleanse. I don't know if you saw today, Emily, but somebody already commented in there and said 3 days into the cleanse, and they felt such a relief from like really bad heartburn and
Yeah,
indigestion that she was suffering with. And 3 days into the cleanse, and it's already been cleared up for her. Isn't
that's
that amazing?
fantastic. I know there's so many things that parasites affect that we don't think about. We just think like, ew, gross parasites. But I mean, we all have them and they're doing all different things to all of us because every body is different. So, if you're really suffering from anything, it's a good thing to try. At least you can try and see, do you feel a little bit better? Because so many people are going to have improvements when they do a cleanse for sure. So, yeah, that was exciting.
Absolutely. I love to hear the testimonials because if you're new here and you don't know, like Emily and I did co-create this parasite cleanse just based off of our own needs, because when we started cleansing and we saw like, wow, look at the improvements in health and skincare and vitality and mental clarity and some weight loss, better digestive like movement. So just when we saw like the plethora of like benefits of doing these cleanses, we were like, dude, we really need to get this out there. And what we were doing is we were having to source our own ingredients to make sure we got all the little things. Like, I don't, maybe one day, Emily, you and I can do a live where we talk about like horror stories, because I don't know if you have any. I definitely have horror stories when I was trying to do this on my own, where I would get like the things that I knew would kill the parasites, but I didn't know about the drainage, or I
Mm.
didn't know about like, the probiotics after the fact. And so sometimes I was doing more damage than good. And so one of the things that we've done with the Ultimate Parasite Cleanse Kit is that we've put everything you need in one kit. It's super simple, three pills that, like, it's a three-step approach to killing parasites, but also helping your body eliminate them so that you don't have to deal with all those
Mm.
horror stories that Emily and I dealt with.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
those of you on the cleanse, we love to hear your feedback. If you have questions, concerns, anything you want to
Yeah.
talk about, like, let us know. One of our main topic today is a question that we got from a lot of people that are on the cleanse right now. But yeah, let us know because we love to hear your feedback, and then let us celebrate your wins. So if you're not in our Facebook group, join. It's Cleansing with Vita Restore. We want to hear your wins. We want you to have feedback and engagement in there, so that way we can follow along with your journey and see how you're doing and support you if you need the support. So today our topic is naturopaths. Okay. Emily and I, it's so funny because Emily's been in the health and wellness, industry and whatever for how long, Emily? 20 years? Is it
20,
longer?
I guess technically 21 this year.
There you go. There you go. That's a long time,
I
and Emily's
know.
only like 25.
I
So
know it's
I mean,
really
she
weird. I
came,
started at 5.
she came out the womb and this was her mission. So,
Yes.
yeah, and I've been on this journey for a good, probably 15 years.
Hmm.
I will say like it's been hardcore since 2018 when I had like a lot of health issues.
Hmm.
And so that really kicked me off on this journey. So sometimes Emily and I will say something that we think everyone knows because we feel like you're like us and you've been in this for a while and you know what we know. But then you send us your feedback where you're like, wait a minute, guys, what is this word that you're using? I don't even know how to pronounce it. I have no idea what you're talking about. And so today, that's our topic is we've had a lot of you, some of you that follow us from TikTok, that have said, what is a naturopath?
Yeah.
You guys keep saying naturopath in your videos. What is a naturopath? What do they do? How do you know if you need one? And so today, Emily and I wanted to come on board and talk about what a naturopath is, what we mean when we say naturopath, and the journey that kind of led us to a naturopath. So,
Yeah.
Emily, since you've been in the game longer, maybe you want to kick it off by saying like what you think or what you feel is a naturopath and what you
Yeah.
incorporate in that category.
So, a naturopath is a doctor. They're a physician, just like a medical doctor. And it's somebody that you could go to for your annual physical, your regular check ins, your well baby check ins after you have a child. It would pair really nicely, like if you had a child with a midwife, kind of more on that. And then that's probably a good explanation of it. Kind of think more midwife versus OBGYN. There's a place for each, right? If something is going south, you need an OBGYN, a surgeon to do a C-section. Well, with a naturopath, they're going to take a more natural approach, just like a midwife would, but they still have all the tools at their disposal that a medical doctor would. So, kind of think of when you go to your primary care physician, your general doctor you've probably seen or your children see since you were a child, especially if you're in a small town. A naturopath can do just that. They are just usually, at least in my experience, going to spend more time with you. And really, their goal is root cause. So, not to blanket everybody, but most medical doctors are band aid. So, you're going to go in and say, hey, I've been feeling A, B, and C. They're going to check your blood pressure, maybe do some blood work probably, and say, oh, yep, you have high blood pressure. Here's your medication. Go to the pharmacy, see you in 6 months. But a naturopath might say, okay, let's evaluate your whole lifestyle. Here's your sleep score, here's your stress score, here's your what you're eating, here's your blood work. And usually it's a little deeper blood work because they're looking at what are your levels of all your vitamins and minerals and hormones for sure. If you're having hormone issue, naturopath is where I would go hands down. And so they're just going to look deeper and figure out that root cause. I would say most of my naturopathic appointments, and to be fair, I've not been to a medical doctor in, I don't know, maybe ever. So my appointments comparison, obviously isn't as fair, but you're going to be there for a solid 30, 60 minutes. Like your first appointment should probably be 60 minutes. They're probably blocking that much time out for you, doing a really in-depth history. Versus a medical doctor is probably more like a 15, 20-minute visit, depending on if you're at a specialist, etc. So for me, it's just the best place to start and maybe end up if you didn't already start there, because they're going to dive deeper and really help you figure out root cause. So if you are looking for more of why is a symptom happening and you don't like to just hear, oh, you have high blood pressure, end of story, then I would definitely check out a naturopath. Most insurance companies cover them as well. I know mine does, just like a medical doctor. And they're all over the place. They're not as common as a medical doctor, but I would think most places in the country are going to have them within a 30, 60-minute drive. Depending on how long it takes you to get to your medical doctor, there's probably a naturopath somewhere around there. So as you can tell, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. You hit on some really good points. Like for me personally, the way that I would differentiate like which doctor I'm going to, like let's say, some of us we have kids or something like that. Let's say the child falls, breaks their arm or
Yeah.
hurts their wrist or something like that. Definitely I would go to a regular, I'm not going to waste my time like Googling or searching naturopath near me. I'm not going to do that because that's an urgent care type deal. You need
Yes.
like urgent help. I would definitely go to a regular Western doctor or urgent care facility, something like that, because you need something right then and there.
Yeah.
Like if you were to have like a heart, like let's say someone had a heart attack or a stroke or something that comes
Yeah.
suddenly and it like hits you all at once. Don't waste your time looking for, and this is not medical advice, by the way, this is just education based on our experience, but those are the cases where, yeah, go to whatever doctor's nearby, the closest that you can. It's an emergency situation. You need emergent care. And guess what? The Western medical, facilities, they have some of the best urgent care that you can find. Like if something's broken or something came suddenly like that and you need like quick responsive help, we've got some of the best like medicine in the
For
world,
sure.
right? But then when we're talking about real health, right? We're talking about you are overall okay. You've got maybe some chronic issues, some gut health issues, maybe some constipation, maybe you have like headaches that come on every now and then, not debilitating or anything like that. Pretty much everything else, right? Anything else health concerns that's not like sudden onset emergency. I personally, the way that me and my family operate is then we would go to a naturopath
Mm-hmm.
because those are things that are, they're chronic, they're usually low grade, and you can live with them, but it sucks. It's not fun to live with them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times what happens is when you go to traditional Western doctors, that's your regular doctors that you would go allopathic medicine, right? That's what it's called. If you go to most regular doctors out there are allopathic, okay? Those are the ones that are usually covered 100% by insurance and all of that. They have to follow certain protocols. So if you go to those kinds of doctors and let's say your labs are somewhat normal to them for their standards, meaning like you're not at a terrible, like off the charts level where they can prescribe you a medicine, most of the time they're just going to tell you like, if you're lucky, if it's a good allopathic doctor, they might tell you some lifestyle changes to do, like, hey, maybe eat less, sodium, or eat more fruits and vegetables. Maybe they'll tell you something like that. But that's as far as it goes with them usually. Like they do not recommend alternative types of medicine, more natural things. They're not going to usually say like herbal supplements because that's not in their guidelines. They're not, a lot of doctors are not allowed to actually say, allopathic doctors are not allowed to tell you like, okay, try this herbal
Mm-hmm.
supplement, because it doesn't fall within their guidelines. They're very heavily like sanctioned, very heavily monitored. They have to be very
Yeah.
careful of what they say. So if you're not at a level where you need a prescription medicine, usually they don't have much more that they can help you with. And they might tell you you're fine, which is why we hear a lot of women saying like, I feel like I'm being gaslit
Yeah.
at the doctor because I know something's wrong with me, but my doctor keeps telling me I'm fine. And it's because
Yes.
to your doctor and their labs that they have to go with, you are
Black and
fine
white.
to them because you're
Mm-hmm.
not you're not at the level where you need medicine and so or prescription med, and so to them there's nothing more they can do for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so at a naturopath or also functional medicine
Mm-hmm.
doctors, because there's lots of functional medicine doctors as well that fall into
Yeah.
this category. But what they can do is their labs are completely different because they can work outside the parameters of insurance. They can tell you herbal supplements to take. They can tell you things about like red light therapy, which Emily is a huge fan of. She's got
Mm-hmm.
lots of facilities that have red light therapy, but like red light therapy helps with a lot of things. And usually at an allopathic Western doctor, they're not going to have red light machines. When I go to my
Yeah.
naturopath, that's one of the first things she tells me to do before I even see her. She's like, when was the last time you did red light? And if it has been like a day or two, she'll be like, go, they have like little cute tents and it's like red light machine. You go sit in that, you feel so good afterwards, then you come out and then we can have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. So like Emily said, is that a lot of times these kinds of doctors will go above and beyond with their remedies and their ailments. It's beyond just like prescription medicines. They have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different tools in their tool belt that they can help you with. And once again, it helps get to the root of the problem because a lot of times, and I'll share my story of what led me to a naturopath, is that I was having lots of chronic low grade issues, right? Like I was having, kind of like upset digestive issues, but nothing that like impaired me. I could still work, I could still function, I still was normal. And then I had like every now and then some acne flare up. And so I just had random issues. I had a little bit of mental fog, like I was like starting to forget things. And when I went to my regular doctor in the Western Medical Center, the allopathic doctor, they had me do my labs. My labs were fine. Everything with like red blood cell count was good, all of that. Nothing was off the charts. Nothing was prescribed. Like they
Yeah.
couldn't prescribe me medicine for anything that was on my blood work, right? So they told me, oh, you're fine. Just, maybe try to reduce your stress and make sure you're eating right. And I was eating right at the time and I did meditate. So I was like, okay, well, I'm doing those things. Like,
Yeah.
what else can I do? And so then that's what led me down the track of like, well, who else can help me with this? And so I ended up through a nutritionist friend of mine finding a naturopath who like charted all my symptoms. She looked at my same blood work that I got at my other doctor that they said, oh, you're fine. And she looked at that blood work and was like, no, this is not fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was like, these hormones are not where I want them to
Yeah.
be. This is not optimized, you
Yeah.
see? So,
They're looking for optimal blood work, not quote normal,
right.
right? Because if we're all following like standard American diet, SAD is the acronym,
Yeah.
they're just bucketing everyone into that. Like, oh, you fit in the parameters next, fit in the parameters next. But yeah, you just said that they're optimal is what a naturopath is looking for because you want to feel optimal. You want to feel your best. You don't just want to feel standard.
Me too.
I feel
And that's
excellent.
exactly how I say it to people. Do you want to be average
Hmm.
or do you want to be optimal? Because
Yeah.
if you want to be average and have to suffer the low grade issues that come with an
Hmm.
average life of a 30, 40, 50-year-old person, you know, it is, you're going to have mental fog. Like just because it's normal or just because it's normalized doesn't mean it's normal,
Yes,
right? We have
that's correct.
there's so many 40, 50, 60, 80-year olds. Like, I mean, it goes all the way up where you'll see them and they're, you know, they have vitality,
Perfect.
you know, they're
Hmm.
not forgetting things. Their bones don't hurt when they get up in the
Yeah.
morning, you know. It is normal to be healthy at any age. And I think that's the what happens, and that's like the disservice that the Western medicine does, is that as you start to age and you start to feel some of these symptoms, what happens with Western medicine is that they don't have a solution for you. Like we can't live the same way we lived when we were 20 and expect to still feel as good as we were when we were in our 20s, right? If we
Hmm.
want to be optimized at every age, we have to bring in different tools that we work with. You know, we have to bring in different modalities, different treatments so that we can still feel good at 40, 50, 60, just as good as we felt at 20, or sometimes even better,
Hmm.
but we're just going to be doing different things, you know? So
Exactly.
that's what I love about naturopaths, about functional medicine
Yeah.
practitioners, root cause practitioners. Like they're helping us find the deficiency. So back to my story, my blood work, I did have to get a little bit additional blood work that my regular doctor didn't get.
Hmm.
And when we found out the additional blood work, which was just testing for minerals, vitamins, you know, we found so many nutrient deficiencies. It wasn't even funny. Like when she was showing me my naturopath, when we walked through my charts and she showed me like, this is where you should be. This is where you are. This is where
Yeah.
you should be. This is where I was so low in so many areas. And she was like, this is why you feel bad. She showed me, she was like, she tied in the vitamin with what I was feeling. Like, oh
Yes.
yeah, you have a deficiency in your vitamin D. No wonder you have no energy. No wonder you're like, your bones are hurting
Yeah.
in the morning, you know, like she wasn't trying to tell me like I had rheumatoid arthritis, which is the other
Hmm.
doctor was like, well, with
Hmm.
time, this might build into rheumatoid arthritis. I'm like, I don't want that to
Yeah.
happen. What can we do to stop that? Because I'm still
Exactly.
young enough, you know?
Hmm.
So that's what my functional and my naturopath did is she showed me like, we have to get your vitamin D levels up. We have to get your magnesium up. We have to get your
Yeah.
calcium up. And so, and then that boiled down to like, what's caused, because I was eating very well. So we charted my food and all that stuff. And we found out it was because I had really poor gut health and my food was just moving through my gut too quickly. And I wasn't able to absorb the minerals and the vitamins and all that stuff. So we needed to, my stomach acid was too low. And that's what was causing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point, is that you work with these practitioners. They help you find, okay, what's really causing all these issues? And then let's fix that, right? Let's not cover up the symptoms, which are really your red flags letting you know, hey, Sarah, something's not right here. You know, we don't want to treat a symptom that's just like your indicator, because then another symptom's going to come up because
Yeah.
we're not finding out what's really causing this. And so with those naturopaths and functional medicine doctors, I think you're a lot more successful in
Mhm.
finding out what's really causing your ailments.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say, if you're thinking, should I go see a naturopath or functional? I mean, I think anyone should, but, really, if you want to kind of dial it in more, the people that should are either, I think number one, if you have some sort of undiagnosed issue or you're not satisfied with what your medical doctor is telling you. So if you are like, Sarah of 10, 15 years ago, and they say, oh, well, maybe it's going to be rheumatoid arthritis soon, or this, and you go, I'm not accepting that. You don't have to accept that. So go to a
Yep.
naturopath, go to a functional doctor and see, can they look deeper? Can they pull the magnifying glass out and say, okay, I'm looking at you, Sarah, as a human being, not just as patient number 25 for the day. Here's your blood work. Moving on next. So if you're looking for kind of that deeper work, especially, if 2024 is your year, you're going to get healthier. This is a huge thing you should definitely add to your repertoire of health remedies that you're doing. And then just, be prepared. Insurance usually covers it, but maybe not. But it's just going to be your typical office visit. So if you need to, save up a little bit for it, maybe 150, $200. Usually your blood work would get covered if you have insurance, even if the visit wasn't. Otherwise, there's really great resources. I use like Ulta Labs all the time to pull blood work for my family, and I just kind of like as an annual check-in, unless I'm like actively at the naturopath all the time. Or if you're just thinking, we're not satisfied with our primary care and physician, check out a naturopath. Your whole family can go. Not all of them take children, but same with a general physician, right? They're not all pediatricians. But basically, like Sarah was saying earlier, if it's an urgent care issue, you wouldn't go to your pediatrician or your general practitioner anyway, right? You wouldn't be like, oh, call for a doctor visit tomorrow with my broken arm, right? No, you'd go to urgent care. So same for a naturopath. Whatever you would have done with your primary care physician, you would do it with your naturopath or your functional doctor, and just be looking deeper. So also, maybe if you're on a bunch of medications, they do work with medications as well. So they can help maybe, eliminate some of them, maybe titrate them down. I actually was on thyroid for a few years from a previous naturopath. And then now my current one was able to get me off, because I said, my goal is to not be on medication. So it took a while because we had to titrate it down, but proud to say I'm off of it, feeling better. So, I mean, because they dig deeper versus someone that would just like look at the numbers, boop, here you go. Next. I mean, they are
Yeah.
detectives for sure. Like,
Yeah.
and
And
a
with
good
that,
one just loves it,
yeah.
dialing into everything.
And with that said, that is kind of, we want to wrap it up, but we can probably talk more about naturopath. We might need to do one more live on this. First of all, if you're wondering where to look for one, there is AANP, what is that? American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. So that is a great site where you can go to that site, AANP. You can just, Google search it. You'll be able to find it. And then you can find a naturopathic doctor near you. And just like with all doctors or anyone that you're working with, not all naturopaths are the same too. Just like Emily just said, she had one and she switched to another based off of her values and what was important to her. So do your own due diligence, go look into them, check out their website, check out their reviews, check out their services, and see if it aligns with your health goals, and then choose accordingly, right? So there's definitely some resources online for that. And then what's also important to remember is that at the end of the day, trust your own intuition as well. A lot of times I think people put a lot of power into the hands of those in white coats, and that can sometimes, work against you. So if you feel something, in your gut, trust yourself. You better than anyone else. So let that guide you and let that be your compass, because it truly does help, but also get the help you need when you need it. I do have to wrap up because I have a hard stop right now, but we will continue this conversation, because guess what? The naturopathic world is what brought me to Parasite cleansing. And you will see that a lot of our ingredients here in our Vita Restore Ultimate Parasite Cleanse Kit, I mean, they're approved by naturopaths. Both of us have friends that we, advised with when we created this formula. And they're the reason why we were able to create a formula that's healthy, that's all natural, safe, effective, all that good stuff. And that helps get to parasites, which are the root cause of so many ailments that you wouldn't even believe. So that is what led us to the point that we're at now. And so much thanks to the natural health,
Shout out to our
field. Yes. Functional health, nutritionist, because my nutritionist also led me to parasite cleansing. So, I mean, all of the natural world, there's a whole world of holistic healthcare. And if getting to root cause of your issues is your goal, and if restoring your vitality at any age is your goal, this is definitely the way, right? This is the path. So, thank you everyone for joining us. Anything else you want to share real quick before we wrap up, Emily?
I think that's it. If you're in either of our areas, so Houston or I'm like Pacific Northwest, you can ask us for recommendations. I would recommend you go to a local one though.
Agreed.
So yes, you can do telehealth. I mean, that's so great, but if they could see you in person, at least for your first visit, that would be huge, because they're picking up on everything. So
Totally.
Let us know. We can give you some recommendations. Otherwise, Sarah set a site of where you could go, and hopefully you guys will check that out.
That's right. That's right. And let us know any questions you guys have, because we'll address them. We can do another follow-up to this. So until next week, thanks everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Have fun. Bye, Emily.